Hey everyone, welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. Today I have a tutorial for you on using the Canon Selphy. It's going to be more on using the app than it's going to be on using the actual or setting up the actual printer. The printer's pretty easy to set up. I will touch on that, but I would like to talk more about how to use the app, how to manipulate it to do what you want it to do. And I'll tell you the pros and cons. I'll give you some price breakdowns of what it costs me to print on it and my overall opinion on using it. So if you have a Selfie that you've gotten as a gift and it's in a cupboard somewhere, I've met several people who have told me that, this might be a good video for you. And if you've been thinking about trying printing at home, this is definitely a good video to consider the Canon Selphy. And I have not used the PictureMate from Epson, but I've heard it's awesome. So that's another option, but this is a little bit more inexpensive option, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So here we have the different types of ink and paper that I have purchased for my Selfie, and they both worked. I have the CP 1300, but I have a friend who has the CP 1500, which I think is the latest model right now, and she has used both of these as well. So I have given her paper before and ink, so they are interchangeable for those two models. Okay, I just wanted to show you what the box looked like, so if you're going to buy it. And I'll give you a bit of a price breakdown on what I think printing a picture costs me. This is based on Amazon is the cheapest place to get these boxes, and they are around $50 for a box for 108 prints. In the States, you guys are around $33 for a box, and there is a possibility to get sales if you buy, say, 4 boxes at once. I just did that and I paid $159 plus tax, so I did get them a little bit cheaper, about 10 cents cheaper per print that way. So this is the price breakdown. This is a dye sublimation process, and what that means is it lays down your magenta, so red, cyan, which is like a blue color, and yellow. And those 3 colors can make every color in the rainbow. No Canon Selphys are equipped with Bluetooth. You use the Wi-Fi in your home and connect the Selfie directly to it, as you do with many other computers, or you can have a direct connection from your phone if you're at a retreat or something like that. So what comes in these boxes is these. This is enough for 108 prints. And the reason they come packed separately like this is because it's very important that you do not touch this part. You can touch the ends that have the perforation that they can come off. You can touch the sides, but don't touch this, because the oils from your hands are the enemy, and pet hair are the enemy of this printer. You will get imperfect prints if you touch the surface. So that's why they come like that. And plus the printer can only handle about this many at once. So it's just take it out of here, put it into the printer, and then when the printer tells you it's out of paper, you put another one in. So the main difference between these 2 different boxes here was this one comes with 2 of these ink cartridges, and this one here comes, this one comes with 3, and this one here comes with 2. They just figured out how to put more on a cartridge. And it says right on here, I believe, with an arrow, right here. See that arrow? Which way it has to go in the printer, and it says right here that there's 54 prints, and here you can see the yellow. That's the yellow that lays down first. All right, so here is each of those things, and then I'm going to bring the actual Selfie in. So here's my Canon Selphy. I got it on buy and sell. Look at this, there's a dog hair right on it. She shed so bad. Anyways, I have been keeping my door closed because I have had some problems with printing pictures that had a dog hair on them, and then you see a smear of the pink, yellow, and blue sometimes. So yeah, you really don't want to get dog hairs in there when you're printing. So this part opens here like this, and you can use a USB card. You can plug it into your computer 2 different ways. And of course, this one does not work on, oh, it does work on batteries. You guys are learning this right here with me. There we go. So you can put some sort of battery in here. I don't know what kind of, it must be the kind that you put in like a digital camera, that type of battery. like a square one that lays in there. But I never use that because I find wherever I go, I usually have power, so it's no problem to plug it in. All right, so then you also get this piece, and there is a piece that flips open. You can there's pictures on here, but there is a piece that flips open and kind of sits up like this so that the pictures go onto it. But unfortunately I broke that piece in transit one time. It works fine without it. So there we go. See, so you can touch these ends, but you do not want to touch in the middle there. So you place your whole, you open this up and you place the whole thing in there, and then you want to kind of shake it so it goes towards the front. So it's pressed against these. And then we push this down so it's in there. Keep shaking it down. And then we push it in here like this. And then it's in there firm, like it won't come out easily unless you really pull it out. All right, let's plug it in. And then the 1500 doesn't have the screen that tilts. It looks a little bit different. It has kind of like a texture on here, and you can get it in black and white. I think you can get the 1300 in black and white as well, but it's essentially the same machine with a little bit different look. All right, let's push this back to here so you can see exactly what's going on here. Oh, I should have shown you this. All right, so here is where you put your ink cassette in. This is the little release, so that's how you take your old one out. Now this one's half finished, so I'm going to put it back in. But as I said, there is an arrow on it right here. And this is the one from the other kind, because the ones I showed you had white on them, but they're the same. They're just made a little bit differently. Probably they make them different colors so that you know that this is the one that prints less pictures. Yeah, this one does 36 postcard prints, and the other one did 54, remember? So we just pop that in place, and then it's in there, and we just close it up. All right, I want to show you how to use the app before I print something. So hang tight, and I will show you how to use the app. For the sake of size, I'm going to show you on my iPad, and also because I'm using my phone to film. So it's the exact same app, whether you're using an iPad or iPhone. And I would imagine it's the same app. My friend has the app as well, and I've seen it on her phone. It looks completely the same on her Android. When you have the 1300, you need both of these two apps here. You need the Canon Print app and the Selfie app. If you have the 1500, you only need the Selfie app. The Selfie app is a layout app. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I hated the app because they had updated it and I was just not happy with it at all. But they just gave it another update and now I like it again. So I will explain to you why right away. And when you first come into the app, it's gonna look like this, and it's gonna ask you how you wanna print. It's going to ask you your machine first, and then it's going to, so you say whether you have the 1500, 1300, whichever. And then you're going to say postcard. You're going to click postcard. You're going to say okay. Then you're going to go to photos, and you have different options of how to print your photos. So if you print like this, I'm going to use this photo here. You're going to get the full size. If you choose to go to this one, you're going to get 2, which I often do. And those are going to be 4 inches by 3 inches. So there's 2 of those on 4x6 background. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to an album. So if you go up here, I always put my photos into an album, and I have many albums on my phone. I only have a few on my iPad, but I put them into an album. I edit them outside of this app. So I usually edit them on my computer or right on my phone. And you can edit in this app slightly, but you don't want to leave big edits for this app. You want to use an outside source to edit your photos to make them look nice. I created this album for one scrapbooking layout. That makes it easier for me when I go to print. Now, the reason I already have this photo printed is because on my last layout, I had an odd number of pictures in this size, and I didn't want to leave one half blank. So usually I'll just pop a picture in there because you can't reuse that ink anyway. Once you've printed a picture out, like a full postcard out, you can't reuse the picture. So you may as well put something in there, and if you don't use it, there's no waste because you were going to waste that spot anyway. And if you do use it, then you've saved yourself a little bit. Now remember, when I said 37 or 40 cents a print, whatever it is, If you're printing 2 on there, now you're down to 20 cents a print, right? Because you're printing 2 pictures on one background. So for this layout, I know that I want to do most of the pictures in a smaller size. So any that are portrait, I want to do in a smaller size is my plan. So I'm going to choose all of my portrait ones. I'm going to not choose that one because I printed that one already. So let's choose this one, this one. It's hard to see what's portrait on here, but I can kind of remember. These two are not, this one and this one. In the past, it would have automatically, because I chose 4, put them on this print. And this is 4 2x3s. But they've changed the app now so that if you select the size that you want printed, that's what you're going to get no matter how many photos you choose. It's going to print 2 photos on there, and then it's going to print another one with another 2 photos. And that's what the original app did. And it's so much better because if you wanted to print 10 photos with 2 on each one or 4 on each one, you don't want to have to go back into the app and reselect every time. You want to pick them all out, edit them all, figure them all out, hit print, walk away and empty the dishwasher. So yeah, that's why I like it better this way. So I'm going to hit OK. And now you see the pictures, how they're going to print. Now there's a couple different things. You can go here, and sometimes it will ask you, I've told it not to ask me anymore, but sometimes it will ask you if you want to border or unborder. So if you go to borderless, they're going to look like this. So I love to print the white, or not print on the white border, to leave a white border around. I love that. And the reason I love that is because then you don't have to add a border out of white paper. So it just saves you on white paper, and it saves you a lot of time and energy as well. So I go bordered, and we go check mark. The one thing that can be a problem sometimes is if you want to cut these apart and you cut in the middle of this white line here, what you end up with is the same size on 3 sides, and then on one side it's a different size. Now you can fix that with a little bit of white paper or cutting them all down to the half size, but there's another way you can fix it on the app, and this is just a little trick that I do. You just click on this picture and you're going to tug it a little bit this way. See that little gray edge? You see it was there? That's the photo well. And if you leave it right here, it's going to give you a little extra white, and you just lose a little bit on that side. And I can do the same thing over here. So now I'm going to have extra white in the middle, and I can probably just cut right down the center. I might need a little bit more. The other thing you can do is you can make them bigger right on here. But when you start to tilt it, it does tilt. So you have to be a little bit careful to try to keep it really straight. My husband's watching the crane. So what I want on there is him looking down, and the top of the crane to be on the photo as well. Now, if I click on here, and you can see my husband looks a little faded out here. So maybe we can fix that. I'm not sure. We're going to go to adjust color, and this one here is brightness. So that one brightens it up a little bit, and you'll have to print and play with your printer at first to see if it's true to your device or not. And that could be the printer, and it could be your device. Sometimes devices show a picture as being way brighter than they are because they're backlit, and once it's printed out, then you don't see it the same way. So that's just something to keep in mind. And sometimes on your layout, if you don't want it to be a really dark pink, you can go over to saturation and like turn it down a little bit, or turn it up if you want it to be a little bit brighter, or if it seems more true to you as it was, you know, at the place you were at. So there's this here, this is tint. So sometimes a picture has a real yellow hue to it and it doesn't look quite right. And then you can push it towards the blue, which is the opposite of yellow, and then you'll get a better tint on the photo. But in this case, they're perfect the way they are. They're outdoor photos, so it's not needed. This is contrast. I could have gone from start to finish, sorry. Contrast sometimes helps too when a picture's faded out like this. See, if we bring it down, you're gonna see the contrast in the picture is like, so the blacks and the whites aren't as opposite of each other, whereas you crank it up and then it makes the darks very dark and the lights very light. So sometimes just one this way will really, come on, there we go, will really make a picture pop a little bit more. But I think this one I'm just gonna leave. It was very sunny, and it looks pretty true to color. So let's go, oh, then you have to hit that check mark. Let's go to this one over here, make sure it's pretty true. And when this orange line is around, then it gives you an idea of how much space you've got in the middle. So I've got pretty much enough, I think, but I could give just a touch more. It doesn't matter for this picture. Now there are times it won't work as good because there'll be something on this side of the picture that you really wanted to keep, but you can switch places. So I'll show you that in the next photo. So then we scroll down, and if we had 10, we would just keep going. I want to print them differently so that you guys can see the difference between me adding the space in the center and not adding the space in the center. This picture looks pretty good. Let's see if we adjust any of the colors, if it's gonna, I don't think we needed any brighter. Usually bright sunlight gives you a lot of contrast, so you usually don't want any more. And let's try saturation. No, I don't think it needs anything. I think it's true the way it is. So let's check mark. It's just, so this is the, yeah, it's straight. Just making sure it's straight. This is the gherkin London. Looks like a gherkin pickle. This one here does seem like maybe it's a little bit dim to me, so let's go to adjust color, and let's turn the brightness up a little bit on that one. I think I was taking the picture more into the sun without the sun at my back, and that makes such a big difference. With this one, oh no, this one's much brighter. See how much brighter it is? Let's go here and try that again. Now let's see. That looks a little bit closer to me. So now they look like a similar green. So I have these all ready to print. So when I hit print, so here's the one with the gap in the middle, and here's the one without. When I hit print, and I'm gonna hit OK, and it's reminding you that when you go to the Canon Print app, if you don't have a border, you wanna also send the Canon Print app to borderless, or it will add a border. So then it automatically opens it over here, and it's asking me if I want to use this printer because it's recognizing that I have that printer. Now I have to turn my printer back on because I had it unplugged to bring it over here. So you just hold down the on button, and the 1500 will conserve your selections in the menu, but the 1300 does not do that. So when you turn the 1300 on, what you need to do, if you've edited your own photos, is you need to go to these two tools here. Let's make sure I only have this long a cord. So you need to go to your tools here, and then you need to hit OK. Then you go to print settings and you hit OK. And you need to go down to image optimize, and you need to turn that off. And then you can go back home. And that's really important because if you don't do that, then it will optimize the image however the computer or the brain in here, there's not a brain, but it will just brighten them up however it sees fit. And maybe it will undo something that you've done, because there's certain situations where you have a dark colored animal or whatever that you really don't want the contrast turned up, because then the dark animal gets so dark, they're just a dark blob, right? So I have to say yes to allow paste. Now this is a step you will not have to do with the 1500. This is only with the 1300. So you hit allow paste, and then it's going to open it in this print app. As long as I don't have the border turned on, I'm going to get the exact border that I chose in the other app. So essentially this app opened in this app, opened the photos in this app automatically. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to have both apps. All right, so we're gonna hit print, and it's saying print for the first time, and that's true because I usually do it from my phone. So I'm gonna say okay, and then it's telling you it's gonna print, and now you're able to watch how it's gonna lay down those colors. I will spare you my barky dog. Of course, today everyone is home and I'm trying to film, and they're emptying the dishwasher and making noise in the background. So hopefully it's not too loud for you. Hey, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, now would be a great time to do it. The printer also adds a top coat, which makes it possible to touch the photo right away and not put fingerprints on it. You can choose a matte coating on top where it kind of adds a pattern so it's more matte, but I noticed that my pictures were always a little bit curled when I chose that option, so I've just gotten used to using them in this glossy fashion. Now instantly these can be worked with. They're dry. That's one of the benefits, is it's not wet. You can use it right away and they feel like a picture. Oh, look at this, we're out of paper, so I can show you how to do that. Perfect. We're only going to touch the edges, because remember I said if you touch this part, you're going to affect your printing ability. Take your time and don't touch the top. Then you want to make sure it's in like that. We're going to push it in, and the moment it's in, it's going to notice, and it's going to start printing. So you don't have to do anything, you just reload it. So here's the difference in the 3x4 prints. Now remember, they're going to be a little bit smaller. These ones here will be a little bit smaller because I've taken some of that space and left it as white. So they're not 3x4 anymore. But when you have a border, it's not too big a deal because you can just include the border. When you print a 4x6, and I'll show you that shortly, these perforations are slightly inside of the 6 inches. So if that really bothers you, it might be a deal breaker for you, because technically these are 4x5 9/10. Now, if I were to cut down the center here, you'll see that I will not have an even border all the way around. So let's do that. You see how the border is going to be way skinnier on this side? And then if I do this one, and this side's even slightly too big. That's okay. I have a couple of large photos to print as well, so I'm going to print those out, and then I'm going to show you what I mean about the pictures being slightly shorter than 4x6. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to this one here, and I'm going to go back to my album. It just makes it easier when they're in an album because you're not searching through that whole big area, and you know you've got them edited and ready. And it's just the 2 horizontal pictures that I want full size. So what I want to do is select this. You see how this rolls, and you can select this one and have like 8 photos. So what you want to do is select this one here. And then I want to take the 2 landscape photos, and I want them both. Now I could move it over here and have them like this, but I want them like this. So I hit OK. And here is the 2, oopsie, did not mean to do that. Here is the 2 landscape photos. So what I want to do now is I want to print these without a border. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take the border off to borderless and hit the check mark. Oops, that didn't work. Let's try it once more. Borderless. Okay, so here are the 2 pictures when they're borderless, and then I think they're perfect. I think this one here I could see. I think the horizon's a little crooked, so maybe we could make it a little bit straighter. Like that. And then we can do adjust color, and we're gonna just increase the contrast by 1. See how that darkened it up a little bit? And then I could add some saturation. Don't know that it needs it for sure. Oh yeah, I do like that. Mine's pretty true to what I see on the screen, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go to here. Nope, not yet. Okay, if you do this by accident, you just want to go back to here and go back into here and say yes to continue editing. Now this one here, let's try and adjust the colors because I do want it to be a little bit vibrant. So let's go to saturation and let's just move it over one. Yes, I like that. And let's see if we want to make that, oh, that was contrast, sorry. Saturation I like a little darker too, so you can see the blueness of the hydrangea. So let's go like that. Now let's see the two photos, they look good to me. So I'm going to do print 2, and it's reminding me that the printer settings are also going to be applied. So I have to make sure that I'm not, if this app is going to add a border, then I'm still going to get a border even though I'm choosing not to have one. I say yes, and here they are, borderless. It says borderless right here, that's what you want, and then I'm going to hit print. Sometimes when you're waiting for this to happen, these won't come up and it will say not communicating with printer, and what I have to do is restart my printer when that happens. That never happens to my friend with the newer one, but it could also be the Wi-Fi in my house. You see here that where the printing ends is the 6-inch mark, but the perforation is slightly inside of that. So you can either cut outside the perforation, it doesn't always show, or you can live with it the way it is. It never really bothers me. The only time I think it could be a major problem is if you want your photos to span a whole 12 by 12 page, 2 6-inch photos, then they'll come up a little bit short. But other than that, it shouldn't be a very big issue. So if you would like to have a Polaroid style photo so that you have the white space at the bottom of a photo, the best way to do that is to edit your photo into a square first. So let's just take this one, for example. No, that's not a good one. Let's take this one. And let's hit edit. We're going to go to crop, and we're going to go to this little size thing here, and we're going to go to square. All right, so let's just take that one. We're going to edit it. We're going to say done. And then I'm going to go into the app to go into either shuffle or custom size. And if you choose shuffle like this, you say okay, then you can get this kind of a Polaroid size, and you can put a border on here and round the corners just a little bit. And all you'd have to do is cut it off here and you'd have a Polaroid style picture. You will waste a little bit of your paper up here, of course, but it does make for cute photos when you have them Polaroid style, if you're using several on a page like that. So I want to show you a little bit with the collage feature. If you use the collage feature, there's a couple different things you can do in here. If you choose to print 3 photos, so let's just select 3. You can choose to have them in this format. So they're all squares. This is a 3.7 by 3.7 square probably, and these two are like just under 2-inch squares. Or you can have 2 by 3, 2 by 3, 3 by 4, all maybe slightly smaller than that, but essentially that's the sizes. So this would be almost 4 by 4 and almost 2 by 2. So if we hit yes on there, and then we're gonna hit, we don't want the dot grid. The dot grid is, yeah. Oh yeah, we don't want that. We're gonna turn that off. There we go. So then if you want a photo in a different spot, you can just drag it and drop it to a different spot. And if you want, this one doesn't look that good in a square, but if you kind of turn it on its side and focus on the biggest rows, so pull it like that. If the picture is a rectangle, you have to choose the part of it that you want to show. And another thing you can do is zoom in on part of a picture. Like, for example, if there was a bee on one of these flowers and I wanted to zoom in really close on it. In the collage feature, you are able to make the border bigger or smaller, and you are also able to round the corners if you choose. Then there is tiling. For tiling, it's better if you have a landscape type photo. So let's like choose this one here. What's gonna happen if you choose tiling and you choose 8, cut into 8, is it's going to print this as one photo, this is one photo, this is one photo. So you're gonna get, these are all 4x6s, so you're gonna get a great big picture. And there was also other options here where you can get 4, or you can put it into 3, or you can put it into 2. So if you want larger photos, sometimes it's worth breaking them up. I usually don't try and fudge or pretend that they're together. I usually do that purposely, making it look like it's a window, like you're looking through a window. So I would probably prefer to use this one or this one. Because usually it actually doesn't ruin the photo. It can make it more interesting. I'll show you that in a layout I've done recently. So I created this layout here using the smaller photos and using the grid style. I actually don't know if they had this option yet back then. So I actually broke the 2 photos. Like I just printed off 2 photos and then I cut them up and I made sure they overlapped slightly. And then I cut them up like this so that I could have them looking like you're looking through a window at the whole Louvre Museum. But I do think it really shows how big the place was as opposed to having it on one smaller picture that would have been down here. So I really like how this layout turned out, and that's a way that you can incorporate having your photo cut up into little pieces. And then these are all individual pictures, which is perfect for a museum because it can be really hard in a museum to get all the pictures that you want showing. And then you just put your journaling in behind and hide it, and it's perfect. I will link the video for this particular layout down below so that you can watch it if you want to. I so hope that you enjoyed watching that and learning about the Canon Selphy, and I hope that you will think about whether you'd like to print your photos at home. I have a bunch of different reasons why I like to do it, because when I was printing from Blacks in Canada, that's probably one of the best places you can print from. I found that in order to get the free shipping, I needed to spend $10, and the prints were 8 to 10 cents a piece because they were on sale. And so in order to get to that, or I had to get to $100, sorry. In order to get to that $100, I had to print 1,000 pictures. Well, I was just printing pictures that I was probably never going to use. I was printing 10 pictures of an event and using 5 on the layout. I was cropping them way smaller and throwing so much of the picture away. And I don't do that anymore, because if I wanted this size, I put 2 on there. If I want it zoomed in on something, I physically zoom it in so I don't have to cut off that excess and throw it away. So to me, it is worth it, and it's worth my time to not have to wait or to bring them away at London Drugs, where it's also 30 to 40 cents a print here in Canada. And then I have to wait a week or an hour or whatever it is. And if I'm not happy with them, I have to reprint them. And I don't want to be running around doing that. You get to a certain age where you've driven your kids everywhere and done all these things, and you're just like, I'm done with that. I just want to be able to stay home and print some pictures. If I just did something yesterday that I have the perfect idea for, I want to be able to print those pictures from yesterday and scrapbook them. So that's my reason for loving the Canon Selphy. There are some things that irritate me about it, and I might someday graduate to having a fancier printer, but right now, for my budget and for my scrapbooking, it's working awesome. So I'll be sticking with it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'd love it if you would hit that thumbs up button that's down there, and I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. I do scrapbooking process videos, but also some tutorials on different things and some organization videos. So I'd love to have you. We have a wonderful community of encouraging people here, and I'm happy to be part of the YouTube scrapbooking community. So I want to thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time here on YouTube. Bye.